Hi, I'm Rabia from PTR and we're at CWIEME Berlin 2026. I have Mr. John Morehead. He's the Principal Consultant at Motion Mechatronics LLC. John, I have a couple of questions for you.
Okay.
And if you can share some of your experience with me. Okay, starting off, my first one to you is, you've built a long career in the electric motor and motion control industry, working across leadership, consulting, and the global manufacturing environments. To start off, can you briefly introduce yourself to our audience and share the key experiences that have brought you into the electric motor and motion control industry?
Sure. Previously, I was a consultant in the field of international licensing and technology transfer. And I had several clients at that time that were interested in electric motors because the area of switch reluctance technology was getting a lot of media attention, and they produced products that used motors. So that kind of got me introduced to the motor industry. Along the way, I had a motor manufacturer as a client, and they offered me an opportunity to come with them full time. I did that, became the VP of Sales and Marketing, and went on from there, for 20 years with U.S. and German and French motor manufacturers. Started my consulting practice in the motor industry about 10 years ago, and work with motor control and gearing manufacturers on growth initiatives.
That's some long-standing background.
Yeah.
I'm impressed. Really nice. Okay, so coming to my first question actually. Many companies can innovate, but they struggle with scaling and commercialization. From a strategy perspective, what are the biggest challenges that companies face when they're scaling these technologies?
I think the biggest problem is not having complete buy-in from the organization.
Yeah.
You can't just one day at your motor manufacturer say, we've decided we're going to make synchronous reluctance motors. And you might be a manufacturer that's never done that before. It's going to present kind of reverse feelings from engineering, manufacturing, sales, people that aren't familiar with something new. So it almost takes a period of introduction and transition to, this is an area that we're going to plan to get into. It gives an opportunity to get feedback from the various functions within your organization so that they can share what their concerns are. You can better refine what your plan is, and then be able to fully develop the product. In terms of scaling it, one of the biggest obstacles seems that companies want to immediately do it all themselves like they've done it before. And it could be that your technology is new enough and innovative enough that it's not a correct fit with your go-to-market organization. It may require new sales or new sales representative people or organizations.
Or even newer strategies.
Right. And I think the other thing is that, especially if you're looking at doing it internationally, it's very typical for a company to go and rent an office, get a small warehouse space, hire a couple of people, and send them out to make success. Too many times I've seen that happen, and they close the doors within 2 or 3 years.
And it fails
because the success doesn't come fast enough.
That's true.
So it's more prudent to look at the international market that's of interest to you, to try to identify who might be a good strategic partner in that market. It could be another motor company. It could even be a supplier to the motor company in that area. Or it could be a company that makes a complementary product, say the control that would go with the motor that you're using.
Rightly so. My next question to you is, in a highly competitive global market, companies are really trying to differentiate through technology, partnerships, and innovations. What do you think actually determines success today in the global motor and motion control industry?
In terms of developing partnerships and alliances, I think the biggest problem is companies don't recognize that it kind of fits with an old saying, you have to kiss a lot of frogs to find the prince. And too often it's either coincidence or circumstance where a company just happens to be approached by someone and they look around and say, well, we don't have any other alternatives, so why don't we go with this one? And they're never going to know if they chose the right fit for them, the right partner going forward. And that can be, a detriment not only to that company, but to the prospective partner. And I think a company needs to spend a reasonable amount of time looking at enough opportunities where they can actually rank those opportunities and then make an informed decision on the one that is best pursued for them. It's something where you can also look at that in terms of maybe the opportunity is to say you're a motor manufacturer and you want to develop something that's going to be innovative in the market. Well, maybe you talk to a motor controls manufacturer and say, what can we do together? Because it could be that controls manufacturer is also looking for a strategic partner that's a motor manufacturer. Or it could be gearing or any other function. So not to do it alone, not to do it just on one or two possibilities.
But like making the most well-thought decision.
Yes.
In that regard. All right. Events like CWIEME Berlin bring together the full ecosystem of electrification. From component manufacturing to system innovators, creating a space where ideas, technologies, and partnerships naturally converge across the industry. From your perspective, how important are platforms like this in accelerating collaboration and shaping the future direction of the motor and motion control industry?
Something like CWIEME is interesting because it kind of covers all the levels involved with the motor industry. So it's every kind of component manufacturer, it's motor manufacturers themselves, it's the people that make the production equipment that produces the motors, it's motor technology companies that are here looking for partnerships. It's an opportunity to hear presentations through the various programs. And it's almost as if you were in a position where you didn't know what your company was going to do next. This is an ideal venue to come and you'll be able to pick up ideas that you weren't aware of, because each of us in manufacturing, we tend to kind of go at things with blinders on. We're very focused on the day-to-day business and don't really open ourselves up to what's going on outside. And the other thing is the various networking opportunities that are there. So it's a chance where you may be, sitting at a table with someone that you've never met before, have no idea who they are, and there's a good opportunity that there is some kind of way that can inspire each other's business. So I think that, something where it's so complete in its coverage makes it kind of a can't lose
from end to end. Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. My last question to you. Looking ahead, what do you think will be the biggest driver of change in the motor and motion control industry over probably the span of 5 to 10 years?
That's pretty interesting. Right now, the easy answer is the mobility market. And what's happening with electric vehicles, because what that's going to do is it's going to bring about big change in motor manufacturing, because the automotive companies are going to be manufacturing their own motors, many of them, and that's going to bring about production machinery that's going to be so much more automated, because the automotive industry is going to be making millions of units a year compared to the motor manufacturers. They're making thousands or tens of thousands of a particular motor. And so the level of automation is going to be a lot higher. The other thing is the automotive companies can invest more in terms of materials. So a lot of new things in exotic materials that have been difficult for a typical motor manufacturer to invest in and to do research and development is going to come to the forefront and become economically viable for other motor manufacturers. And I think one other area is, if you look at in the mobility overall, then you've got the aero mobility.
Yeah.
And that's a completely different world, where different from the automotive and the industrial motor area, where they're willing to pay a premium for that little bit more efficiency, for that little reduction in weight, for the reduction in size. That's going to, again, bring about economies of scale that are going to make it easier for companies in the industrial side to be able to take advantage of previously very exotic materials. So there's a lot happening in the next 5 to 10 years. And, you could even get into the 3D manufacturing side of it. That's only just starting to be something.
Absolutely. 100% agreed. Thank you so much for sharing all of the information that you did. And thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.